Okay, so let's have a look at the present continuous. We'll start with looking at how we write the present continuous. So the positive form, just like with all the other tenses, we start with the subject. But now what we need to do is we need to use the verb to be. But we don't say be. What we need to do is use the present form of the verb to be. So if you can remember that, it's am or is or are, depends on the subject that you're using. And then we use the verb. And then this time what we do at the end of the verb, we put ing. So subject plus am, is, are, plus verb, plus ing. Negative, okay, all we need to do now is we say am not, or isn't, or aren't, plus the verb plus ing. Don't forget, try and use the short forms, not is, not, are not. Try and make it shorter, isn't, aren't. If you're going to ask a question, then what we do is we put the verb to be, so the extra verb, we put it at the beginning. So this time we put am or is or are first, then you've got the subject, then the verb plus ing. And if it's a negative question, then we just start it with isn't or aren't, plus subject plus verb plus ing. And if we're talking about I, then this time what we do is I am not. So it's a little bit different for that one. But the thing to remember is that when you're using the present continuous, we use the verb to be. It's the helping verb. Sometimes we call it an auxiliary verb, the extra. But if it's easier to think of it as the helping verb, then there we go. So with the present continuous, we use the helping verb, the verb to be. Right. So let's have a look at the spelling rules. So how do we write the present continuous? And there are some things you need to remember. Now the first thing, with some of the short verbs, if they end in a short vowel, and don't forget, remember, vowels A, E, I, O, and U, and then a consonant, then usually what we do, not all the time, but usually we double the final consonant. You've got two examples there. So swim, so it ends with a short vowel, I, and then a consonant, M, but there's only one M. So if you want to do swimming, we just change, we put two M's and then the ing at the end. And hit is hitting. Now, if the verb ends in a vowel and then a consonant, and then we have an E at the end, usually what we do is you drop the E. The last E, take it away. You've got the example there, love, loving, take, taking. There's no E at the end. And then the last thing, verbs that end with IE. Now, there's not many in English. You've got examples there, lie and die. Then usually what we do is we actually change the IE into a Y, and then we put the ing. Right, let's have a look at how we use the present continuous then. So, the first way that we use it is when we're talking about unfinished temporary actions and habits. So these are things that don't happen all the time. It's just at the moment it's happening. That's the most important thing to remember with the present continuous. We're always talking about now. So we've got things that are happening now, but they're not finished, and also habits that are happening now, but again, they're not finished. You've got an example there. I'm waiting for the bus to arrive. Have a go, like we've done with the other presentations. See if you can think of some sentences. Remember the grammar that you've just looked at, how you write it. Come up, think of some sentences, write them down to help you with this. The present continuous to talk about unfinished actions and habits. And then you can pause the presentation and then restart, because I'll show you my answers. So here we go. Here are some answers. So for example, my sister's walking to work until her car is fixed. So at the moment, usually she drives the car when she goes to work, but at the moment her car is not working. So she's walking to work. That's in today, yesterday, next week, but it's at the moment. It's temporary. I'm not eating meat this month. There we go. So for example, you've decided that you want to go meat free for 1 month. So you can say, I'm not eating meat. There's a question, are you learning English at college? So it's just a habit. It's a temporary action. You don't learn English at college for your whole life. But right now, at the moment, are you learning English? And there's another one. He's looking after their dog while they're on holiday. So possibly they've gone on holiday for 2 weeks. So he's looking after their dog. It's temporary, but it's happening now. Okay. So another way that we use the present continuous is very similar to what we've just looked at. But the thing with this is it's recent temporary actions. So, this is things, perhaps it was a conversation, something that you spoke to somebody about, this morning, or you're talking to somebody about something that's happening right now. It's a recent temporary action. So they're very, very similar to the other use that we've had a look at. There's an example, I'm staying with friends for a few weeks. So it's, you're, at the moment, you don't live in your house, you're staying with friends for a few weeks, but it's only just started, so it's recent. See if you can think of some sentences and then have a look at my answers. There we go. So here are some examples. She's talking to her sister on the phone. It's almost like right now. You're in the room and your friend is there with her telephone. And you say, oh, she's talking to her sister on the phone. Or you look out the window. It's raining at the moment. Now, it's still temporary. It's not going to rain all day, all night, all the next day. It's temporary. Are you practicing your English? There's a question for you. Or, at home with the children, they're not tidying their bedrooms. So it's right now. It's a recent action. Or there you go. You can say, I'm getting good marks for my homework. So all of these things, again, it's still now. It's still temporary. Okay. So the last way that we use the present continuous, if you've seen the video on the present simple, you'll know that we use the present simple to talk about futures. Well, we also use the present continuous for future things, but this time it's definite arrangements in the future. We're not talking plans that will possibly happen. This is a definite arrangement. So you've got an example. I'm seeing a film at the cinema this evening. So you've been online, you've booked your seat, it's all paid for. No, it's definite. See if you can think of some other sentences and then have a look at mine. So here we are. She's visiting her mother next month. It's possible she's booked the time off work. So it's all arranged. I'm having an interview on Tuesday. I've got the time, I've got the date, I've got the presentation, everything is arranged. Are you studying at college next term? So, there's the present continuous, but this time it's in a question, but we're still asking about a future definite arrangement. The next one, they're not leaving until 9 o'clock. Possibly they're going on holiday or they've just decided to go out, but it's already arranged. They're not leaving until 9 o'clock. And the last one, we're getting a new washing machine next week. So possibly you've gone online, you've booked it, and you've got the delivery date and everything is arranged. So that's the other way that we use the present continuous. We're still using the verb to be for the present, so am or is or are, and we've still got the verb plus ing, but we're talking about the future.